wow. It's really weird. These here.
Literally met him yesterday, signed the VA, literally right up there. So, yeah. Yeah. No, not yet. No. He said, let's wait another week. We're still getting showings, just no often. We'll see. We went over to a friend's house and rode around on razors and shot off fireworks and stuff. Living the good old country life.
That is.
So did you
do
sit?
anything?
Did you sit in front of TV for 2 days?
You know what?
Watch football.
I was walking up the steps here and I'm like, and it's just my body saying, you haven't moved in 48 hours. Yeah, I took a shower yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a big deal. You know?
What did you eat the entire time?
You know, we ate pretty good, and then yesterday, Nina's like, well, what do you want today? And I'm like, just some, I just want some vegetables and some dip and some salami and cheese, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And she got all that. She goes, well, what about wings? I'm like, oh yeah, wings too. So after I ate all that, and then the wings are there, she's like, aren't you gonna eat the wings? I'm like, I can't eat the
I
wings.
understand they have it fixed.
So maybe today I'll eat.
Oh, at least you have vegetables here, somewhat.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
During bowl.
I can't do what this one's doing.
Yeah, she eats a donut and she's still so skinny.
She eats a donut and loses a pound.
Exactly. The
Did you
miracle.
gain anything this weekend? You haven't gained nothing. Are you working out?
Today was the first day of the workout.
She doesn't work out when she's still skinny as she is. I wonder how that works. You know, not in my book.
Yeah, you need to go see a doctor. They need to do a whole study on you. They need to do a whole study on you.
I just wanted to chill moments. So.
Where's Jim? Well,
Because I had a lot
They're on their way up.
Christmas, I had church to go. Okay.
In Texas,
apparently this is all new, and I took it when.
Good for you, good for you. Writing into goals and everything, right?
What was saying.
Feliz año.
How do you say it?
Feliz año.
Feliz año. Because annual.
So it was different.
Yo say
Happy New Year sounds
año.
better.
No, but it's año. You don't
Annual.
say the año with the little I.
Annual.
You don't say año.
That's
That's
not. That's why Happy New Year is better.
You have.
Where did you go?
Early today, chilled.
No, New Year's Eve night.
No, home.
I know.
Stay with friends,
So it
family.
does work, you just don't want it right now. Not don't want to, but.
Can't don't everybody if someone got something. And basically have a little lights,
Little dance party. Or 5 in the morning.
Yeah. Still on we're at 17 shows.
So,
So I feel like that's just screaming at good prices too.
Yeah.
What's up, Kyle?
Hey Rob,
Same prices.
happy Christmas.
I mean, Stephanie.
So were you excited to see Michigan win?
Yeah, I think so. People are big mobs with Alabama fans, and it's good to see Big Ten beat the SEC.
And holidays and
Do I
everything.
want Jim Harbaugh to have success? No.
We have
But
another show today.
overall, I was
Another
pleased.
show Sunday.
I was honestly just, frankly, the most impressed with Michigan's defense in the first half.
So,
The amount of
I don't know.
tackles for
I'm like,
losses and sacks, I was
getting so
astounded.
many.
So I really, that made me think, and it also made me think, especially after Georgia beat FSU, I was like, Georgia's lost Alabama was a fluke.
One is
And
like
Georgia,
Right, Georgia should have been there.
realistically,
Alabama.
by way of
Yeah.
like, by way of teams comparatively, Georgia's better. By way of actual, like, if you cannot lose the championship game and go to the so like that part, they should have been in it from that perspective, but we are not on to it.
Oh, yeah. Are you
hiring her.
I'll speak Spanish, you speak English.
Is
No,
because
it's super.
Cool, that's
I want to interview with you to see if I want to work
And
with
then,
you. I'm very selective of my agents.
Reliance.
My life.
I know.
I'm gonna say
And
this.
I was like, oh my god.
I expect
So I
a
met
loss.
with her. And I was doing
We played pretty well.
I didn't do that against them.
And I was like,
And I know that you've looked at the debacle
and
of
so
the
we're
68
working
versus
together.
70.
She's very good.
We can get rest.
She worked with more than 5.
But they did,
So
but the
I
thing
was like, you
is,
better get in
they
there.
did it in a way that we had
I know. She, yeah, she's awesome.
Had they not
She is
called it
very
like
to the book.
I would be they literally told me
Just like,
Cowboys
she sent
70
me
and
all the
eligible.
emails that she sent.
Good morning, everybody.
Or Mr. Jim.
Like, it would be mind-blowing at this.
Someone tell me something good happened to you between,
Oh, look at him.
the last couple of weeks, something that just happened, Jim, I sold something, or I got my present for Christmas, tell me something good that happened. Nothing happened good? All right, yes.
I got a new blazer, so now you guys don't have to see me wear the same 3 blazers every single day. So now I've got 4, yes, exactly. So you'll see this one every day for all of January.
I like it. Does anybody care that Alabama lost last night?
Yes,
No,
yes,
I do.
yes, yes.
What do you mean, I mean, care that, yeah, I was glad they lost.
You know, okay, good.
Yeah.
I noticed Hunter hasn't shown his face.
No, I don't think he's gonna.
He's not happy. He's not happy.
I was texting him during the game.
No, my family watched a lot of football this weekend, and they were happy the Eagles lost, they're happy that Alabama lost, so. Yeah, I didn't cover either one, but anyway. I still say Georgia got robbed. Do we agree with that?
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Georgia got robbed.
I don't know. FSU put up a big fight.
And I'm not even a big Georgia fan. I'm not even a big Georgia fan.
Yeah, but it was
63 to
a
3
really,
is
a
pretty
really
tough.
unfair game.
That's
Exactly
pretty
right.
tough.
Exactly right. Sure. Everybody have their goals
hurts.
and ready to go for 2024? Who has their goals planned and they got it written down and ready to go for 2024? Really? Way to go. I like that. I have mine written down, but I don't have my 135 done yet. I'm going to work on that today. Do you have yours done?
Yes.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
And finish my taxes.
I was gonna say that, I finished my taxes as well, I'm so
Yeah, I'm
happy.
very
So I was doing the whole week last week. You saw me.
Nice.
Makes sense.
So one more question, okay? So a year from now, if this happened to you this year, you'll be very happy that this happened this year. Like I sold 200 houses, or I made $250,000, or I won the lottery. What would be your number one thing if this time next year looking back, thinking, if I accomplish that, I'll be very excited? Who wants to share?
Like one goal that will make us
If,
big.
if next year at this time, if we had 350 agents and we were the most profitable office, we are right now for the Wall Street, for the Southeast region, I would be like, wow.
Yeah,
Of course, the one's ahead of us by, I think, $175,000.
I will be happy, I don't know about money, but if I close one transaction every month this year,
Okay,
I will be totally happy.
I
That's
like
my
that.
main goal, because thank goodness, everything else in my life is in place. But just my business is not.
But everything else is good in your life. Would
Yes.
everybody take that? All right, what else? One thing that happened this time next year, you'll be like, God, I'm excited.
I-
What about you? I want to pick on you.
Oh gosh, I knew you were gonna do that
Of
for
course,
some
'cause I love
reason.
you, Jerry.
Honestly, I've been working on a book that I hope to publish, in the first half of the year, so that would be
Wow.
nice. if I could get it.
What's it called?
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's all about Jim Alexander.
All right, I missed that. What did she say about me or my name? Well,
It's a book about you, it's by the
She wants to
teller.
finish a book, and then we ask, what is this about, Alexander?
Exactly right, Jeff, which is cool. I like that, okay.
She
What
was-
else?
yeah.
Big goal.
I would like to see, in the industry, the state of mind of buyers and sellers regarding the interest rates, that we have more positive thinking.
Okay,
And so a year from now, we'll say, you know what? This is, the market definitely is thinking in a different way. Because I feel that 2023 was definitely more negative look on the market. I would like to see a positive look.
all right, I like that. And can we help write that scenario?
Yes.
We can.
Yes.
They're telling their story, we're not telling our story, right?
Right.
Do I get that, okay? Who else? Yes, sir, Rob.
My goal next year is 24 transactions, and I'd be super excited to see that happen. And
Do you know that putting that out there just in, God, I always love this little bit in the universe, just putting it out there sometimes has an amazing effect on things because you have it out there, you said it out loud. It's like, I'd like to have lost 20 pounds by this time next year because the past 2 years I found 20 pounds. And it was fun finding it too. I'll tell you because I hang out with my grandsons too much. Katie.
I want to double my business, so I get 18 deals by this time next year.
I love it. I love it. Who else? First, y'all gonna be shy? Come on now.
So this year, my goal is to sell 10 million in production.
Cool, cool. And what did you close this year in production? 3 million. Cool, great. Y'all like that goal?
Yeah.
That's a great goal. And she's put it out there, guys. Who else? Anybody else?
My goal is to become a full-time agent as a new agent.
Yes! Yes! I like that. So, Kyle, what's your goal for interest rates this year? Where do you want to be?
3%.
Half, okay, 3, sure. No, I mean, realistically, if we're sitting in the 5s comfortably, I think we could all get on board with that's a pretty reasonable place to start buying houses and get inventory moving.
I like 5%.
That's my goal, and I will do what I can to get them down. That's my promise to you all.
Jerome Powell?
Yeah, I do. I've been spamming him for about a month. I'm gonna keep that up.
Are you like it? Call Jerome.
And I would say expand on that story because just because it's 5%, it doesn't mean it's 5% to you. If your credit score is 650, you are not getting 5%,
But
right?
that would mean you get 6% though. Would that be good to have 6%?
That would, yeah. But everybody thinks, oh my God, 5%. I really don't want to buy a house. So okay, yeah, talk to me about it. It's not so good. It's 565. Well, honey, you are not getting 5%.
But they can eventually.
And they
Eventually, but they want it. Yeah.
instant gratification.
Yeah.
And it should be, can you afford the monthly payment? Should be nothing more than that. Can you afford it? That's it. I mean, I think my grandson's 2 years after. By the way, if y'all like sort of sci-fi stuff, the new Aquaman movie is wonderful. It is a wonderful movie. Now, if you have young kids, there's a couple of bad words in it, you know, but not even any quite about her before, but anyway, they did excellent. Who saw Avatar?
Yeah.
Did you like Avatar?
It's the first one or the second one?
The first one.
The first one, yes.
I love this Avatar.
That
And
was
this
great.
has got some moments of Avatar in there,
Oh,
which I love. I
cool.
love it. That's right. But it was a great movie. And we also saw
the name
Willy
of the
Wonka
movie?
this weekend.
Aquaman.
So, anyway, anybody else has something they want to share as far as the goal for next year? Yes, ma'am. Great.
I wanna try and I will make my two deals a month. I wanna make sure I handle my finances very well. I'll get back to being debt free, because I was there one time, debt free. And I think in line with wanting to do 2 deals a day, I've just got my first listing site, the second listing sign. I've had, all the time I've managed 1 listing sign. I have to invest in another listing sign.
Yay!
So that's what's good for me for this
We
year.
we did end up with more listings than any other Keller Williams office in the city. Including the one, let's have a head for that, including the one up in Alpharetta that's got 645 agents.
So we did more?
Huh?
We did more, our office?
We had 800 some listings and they had 675 some
Oh,
listings.
wow.
That's a lot, job. But they're a whole lot more profitable than we are because they have a lot of agents that do 1 and 2 deals a year, which means they don't do what?
Cap.
Cap, which means the office does what?
Make money.
Get
It
some
makes
percentage.
money, exactly right, Judge, but I'd rather have fewer and be lighter, which I love. Okay, anybody else want to share their goal for this year?
I do.
Yes, sir. How do
So
you
my
go?
goal, in sales, we always talk about the big hack, like the big, hairy, audacious goal. So for me, for this year, it's 40 million. It's different from officers to
Yes.
40. But 40 million, so I need at least like 150 I need 600 leads per year.
Wow.
Out of 13, at least 13 realtors, I need to get at least like 152 per realtor. What I'm trying to say with this is, with having those clear numbers is even better for me to have that. But when you say big, hairy, audacious goals, means that if you get 30 to 35 million, it's good. So,
That you guys are out of bed this morning, that you guys are up, that you want to hear about how to take 4 listings in January. Who would like 4 listings in January? Raise your hand back there, I know you do. Wouldn't we all want to have 4 listings in January? Wouldn't that be great?
Yes.
Would that be great if we start the year? So we're here about this morning, yes, ma'am.
I want to share this too, so I love hearing all of this, and I learned something a couple of years ago about writing goals, and I'm sure y'all heard this in some way or another, but instead of writing like, I want to do this, or I hope to do this, if you write out a sentence like, I did this, and you kind of write it down every day, it really makes a difference, and it truly does, because I look back at some of the goals I've had over the past couple of years, and instead of me saying like, I want to buy a condo with views, the sentence that I wrote was, I own a condo with views, so I started living in that, and then, guess what, I did have one, so it's like, it kind of changes your mindset, so just thought I'd pass that along.
That is wonderful, that is
Write
wonderful.
the vision.
Live as if it's already happening,
Right.
and it will, faster, maybe.
I have something good to share.
Please, tell us, go for it.
So I took my, my first listing of the year goes live on January 11th. I'm very excited.
You should be excited. Let's give her a hand for that. Exactly right. Okay, guys, we want to make 2024 our best year ever, and it can be, and you just need to figure out what best year looks like for you. All right, let's move on, you all. Do we have someone coming to help? Our partners, come on up. Carrie.
Good morning again. Well, I already shared my life. No, I'm just kidding. Glad to see you guys. Happy New Year. We have, if you missed our contracts class last month, we're gonna do one again on the 11th, from 1 to 4 in here, so it'll be contract changes for 2024. Yeah, some of the changes were made. And then we have to hear their goals, right? So we have to hear their goals.
Hey guys, y'all heard about my grandsons?
Yes.
We have,
Nathan and Seth. They're going home tomorrow.
So we hope to see you guys there. I'll send out a reminder email for that. And then Cheryl and I have gone through every month for this year, and we're gonna have a theme. I think I may have shared that with y'all in our last class. But each month is gonna have, a city class with like team meeting stuff, trivia stuff, sort of with a monthly theme. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. So this month obviously is contract changes. And then February is Assumption Amore. So we're gonna talk about that.
When is the
March.
one in February?
About assumptions, which people are asking us a lot about. And then March is gonna be the Show Me the Money, so it'll be financing and the dollar contract. Anyway, I won't bore you with all those right now, but it's gonna be fun, so can't wait to see
I don't think you're doing. Carrie, come on up.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Danielle.
I don't know. Cool. Just have to go track her down.
She's in Arizona.
She didn't have me on find my iPhone. I don't know where she is. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. I'm following the Carrie Green School of Verbal Affirmation and Manifestation. I have 6-pack abs. Somewhere I do. I really do. One thing I wanted, Aunt I wanted to follow up on something you said a minute ago, because Camilo and I looked at each other a little bit when you said that. In the past, it would have been a true statement to say, if you have a 650 credit score, you're not going to get a great interest. Well, she said 550, Camila.
Oh.
What did you hear?
She said
I
650.
said 650 and then
I
I
was
changed
thinking
it
in
to
Spanish.
550.
Okay, well, she's right. I'll go sit down now. You want to go, woo, but anyway,
Yeah, 550.
but let me say about a 650, because we have plenty of people who do have a 650. I don't know know, guys, if you guys remember last year, there was a change, and it was a little bit tough to swallow.
Yeah.
So let's say that you're a lender and you've got $10 million that you're gonna lend, and you're gonna be very judicious about who you lend it to and at what interest rate you're gonna lend it to them. You're gonna look at a client that says, this guy has a 770 credit score and he's putting 20% down. This person has a 640 credit score and they're putting 3% down. Now, which one of those are you gonna charge a little bit more interest because of the risk? Now, tell the truth. Don't, I mean, come on.
The lower limit, yeah.
Okay, that's true. But in the past, prior to the changes that happened last year, if you look at a big grid with credit score and down payment, the guy with the low credit score and the low down payment, the adjustments to the interest rate or the cost of the loan, which you would have done too, right? You would have done that. They were so big that we couldn't even make the loans because it pushed it into a high cost loan category. So a person was being charged, there was a 3-point hit. Now that's not 3 points in interest rate, but there was a 3-point hit to even get a par rate. So what happened was those were changed. So now I would say it's actually easier now, but what you may actually see is somebody with a high credit score and a bigger down payment not getting any better interest rate and cost of the loan than somebody with a low credit score and a 3% down payment. It's a little bit counterintuitive. So what I would say is when you hear somebody say, well, my credit score's low and I got a small down payment, I know I'm not going to get a decent interest rate. That's not necessarily true, especially if they are below the 100% area median income. That is a big deal. And every time that we get a credit application, once I've verified that the number that they put in the credit application is actually accurate. Did y'all know that sometimes people don't tell the truth? I wouldn't say that buyers are liars, but I've heard realtors say that before. But anyway, once I've verified that that's income, that's the first thing I'm gonna do is look at the area median income to see if they're below it, because if they are, their PMI is, their interest rate is gonna be a lot better. And then you've got also home ready loans too, which even your PMI is cheaper. So I'm saying that it's a positive environment for people, even if their credit profile is not optimal, that they need to look it's so frustrating. I got a call yesterday. Hey, so-and-so told me I should give you a call. I just want to talk and just see, like, what kind of interest rate could I get? Well, I'll need a little more information before I can answer that question, but I kind of got him talking real positive, unicorns, cotton candy, the whole thing. This is the best thing in the world. And then at the end he says, okay, well, I appreciate it. And I'm going, well, listen, I haven't been able to give you any info. I can't give you any info until you give me some information. So when you guys get a client that wants to do that, please have that conversation with them. Say, look, make application. Now, what's one of the first things you guys have heard when you get one of those calls, guys?
I don't want my credit touched.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is this going to involve a hard credit pull?
No.
Now, somebody's told them that that's a bad thing. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. What is your credit score? He said, it's between 780 and 800. I said, man, a credit pull is not going to affect your credit score at all. Let's go ahead and figure out what you can do. So anyway, get your clients to us. Give me their number. Let me call them, because if you give them my number and tell them to call me, that may or may not ever happen. So anyway.
Reed,
Yes,
you
sir.
have the experience. We have the experience when you have a 650, they might get it up.
100%. I talked to a guy last week whose score, I think it was actually about 650. And I quickly looked, we have a thing called a what if simulator in our credit vendor. And I said, look, here's what you can get right now. I said, but if you've got time and about $2,000, I said, we can get your score up easily. And, it's just whether people want to do it.
Right, so Reed, sometime last year, I'm gonna mess this up, there was a scenario going on that what was gonna happen was that people with higher credit scores are actually gonna be paying higher interest rates than those with lower. Did that actually even happen?
In a sense,
And you
yes.
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's called loan level price adjustment.
That's right, yeah.
In a sense, it's true. The the way the chart, the way the grid worked, people with higher credit scores were not getting quite the benefit that they got before.
But
It
it still had the
ended up
benefit.
not being as punitive as we thought it was. So what happened was before, everything over 740 was the same. Well, now you've got a tier at 760 and a tier at 780. So yeah, the guy at 740 is not quite getting the deal he got before, but he didn't have a 760 or a 780. So, but it wasn't quite as bad as it looked like. It was a little counterintuitive at the time, but yeah. Yeah, but interest rates, I mean, I locked the guy at 6.5 last week, so mucho mejor. So that's all I got.
Hey, I'm the Hispanic here.
Appreciate you guys.
Stay out of his area, please. All right, next is Y4C2 Cheese. Rob, what's your favorite one for this year?
For this year, commitment.
All right, tell me why.
Commitment in all things. I want to be committed to my goals, and both business and personal.
Committed. If you ain't committed to it, it's not gonna happen, guys. It's not gonna happen. You can talk about it, but it's not gonna happen. Not 20 pounds, not gonna come off magically. All right, Script Mastermind. That is every Wednesday from 9 to 11. Guys, if you ever need to be in Mastermind for that, you should be in there right now, because there's a lot of scripts you need to be learning about interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. You need to be there every Wednesday from 9 to 11. And then there's gonna be some new stuff. Rob, what?
We're gonna be on the phone.
On the phone. Get on the phone. Imagine that.
So.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Getting on the phone actually, which I love, okay? Cool. All right, guys, this is something that everybody thinks, oh, I want to go to a party, but I can afford it, I don't know what to do. Patty is the person that does this very, very well in our office. Guys, you can do a party pretty cheaply, particularly if you get someone to help you pay for it. A lender, a closing attorney, your favorite HVAC company. You know, guys, come to this, because having an event like that is a great thing for you, because your customers get to come and clients. And so, guys, please come do that. It's a step-by-step playbook, and that is happening on the 4th Thursday. That's 2 days from now, 11:30 to 1. Show up. GPS, Arthur, talk about it.
So we are back. This is an abbreviated version, and I am back this Friday. The Zoom link should be the same, Kimberly. So it's from 4 to 4:30.
Because if you don't know what a GPS is, you need to know, because I don't know how you can have a great business if you don't know what your GPS is. It replaced a
135.
Dr. Rochelle, which is good. All right, guys, Ignite's coming up. Why everybody does not jump on the, you don't have any business. Guys, these guys, each one of them knows what to do in order to the particular subject they're gonna cover. So guys, it starts when, Kimberly?
January 8th.
Right, guys, and if your business is not where you wanna be, this is certainly why I would jump in one of these classes, but also if you need the 25 hours, this is the time to do it.
And if you're an older agent and need a refresher, it's complimentary? Okay.
Unless you wanna buy the binder.
Oh, gotcha.
What'd you say?
Unless she wants to purchase the binder.
If you want the binder, exactly right, Joe, but you can take enough notes, guys, to probably make it work through your while. Okay, Rob, give us some wisdom, we're gonna jump on this call.
Okay, real quick. So every morning in my quiet time, I read just a devotional, okay? And this made me think directly about my business, okay? So I read this verse, it's in Revelations, but it's also in the Old Testament as well. So, because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I am about to spit you out of my mouth. Okay? So he's talking about your relationship with God, right? But, and I took that and went through it. Then I started thinking about my business, right? Are you lukewarm? Right? So we have 313 agents in our office. We have 30 in here today. We have some on Zoom. We have a lot of people that are in this business that are extremely lukewarm to cold. Okay? So I started thinking about me. Right, I'm going into a new adventure, right? I'm warm right now, I'm excited, but guess what? You have to keep that. This weekend we watched a couple of Netflix shows. A lot of them are from London, right? And England and everything. They always have the kettle on, right? Right? The kettle's always on for tea and everything. So it's always hot. Always ready for someone to come in. Right? So what are you doing with your business, right? To stay hot, right? Not boiling, not freezing, not lukewarm, but hot and ready all the time. So I thought to start this year, are you lukewarm? It's okay if you are, but that tea's not going to taste very good, is it? So what else are you lukewarm about in your life, right? So I'm making some changes in my life right now, right? And I'm gonna have the people around you. You are the sum of the 5 people you hang around the most, okay? So I want people that are hot around me all the time. Because if they're cold around you, you become lukewarm. Take that, think about that, pray on that, and see what it could do for you.
Well, Rob, that was actually great, and I love it. Let's give my hand, guys, thank you. I'm always interested in why people had their best year last year. Do you realize there are people in this office that had their best year ever last year? But then a lot of us did not have, a lot of people did not have a good year last year. And they blame it typically on what? The market. So guys, I'm always wondering, so why does a certain agent do really, really well? What changed that she or he did well and they have their best year ever, as opposed to someone that's been doing business for years and they don't do anything? I was thinking about us having a gym that's got the finest equipment in the whole world in this gym. I mean, it's 10,000 square feet. It's got the finest equipment. Yet the guy with the jump rope is the one that's losing weight. Why is he losing weight?
He's doing it.
Because he's doing what? He's jumping rope, right? He's actually jumping rope. He doesn't have all that stuff. But if he had the equipment, would that help him out some more? Yes, it would. Well, at Keller Williams, we have the finest equipment, and I'll say it, in the whole world, as far as you guys being successful. And one of my favorite things about being at Keller Williams is MAPS. What does MAPS stand for? Do I know? Agent Productivity Systems. And the word is system at the very end. So this morning, a lady that I'm very fond of, that's one of the best talents at Keller Williams, she's at MAPS, and she's going to jump on, she's going to help us understand what we can do this year. Number one, take 4 listings in January and make it our best year ever. Tammy, are you there?
I am. Good morning, everybody.
All right, we can't hear you yet. Give us a second here. Is she muted?
No.
We got you.
Am I there?
We're hearing you. All right, let's welcome Tammy.
Hi. Oh gosh. It's so bizarre to see yourself twice on a screen because you just flipped it around so I can see it. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, first tell us about you, Tammy. Tell us about your real estate career.
Sure. I've been with Keller Williams for 20 years. I did not start at Keller Williams. However, I made a pretty fast move over here from another company that will remain anonymous. And I was Rookie of the Year, my first year here. I am the director of Bold. I've been a Bold coach for 10 years. I am also the co-coach of a program called Never Ending Referrals, which is all about database mastery. Database is 100% my jam. And let's see, I own an education company in the Carolinas region. I live just north of Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's called Carolinas Educational Services. And we bring education into all of the offices in my region. And I think today, Jim, we're going to talk about listings, if I'm not mistaken, which really, really light me up because the last year I was in production, I personally took 103 listings myself. So I'm going to share everything and anything that you would like to know about listings today, because that's where it's at. You know, how many of you have heard list to last? Right? Yep. Yeah. And I mean, how many listings can you carry at one time?
As many as you want.
Right? I mean, with help and systems, as many as you want. And yet, how many active buyers can we work with at one time?
One.
No.
Yeah. Well, in the last 2 years, maybe, right? And so, yeah, listings really truly are leverage, and they help you attract more business. So we're gonna jump into that today.
I can read minds at my age, and what I'm hearing them say is, "Oh yeah, but I bet she had a big team. That's how she took 100 listings." Would you?
No, I did not. No, I personally took those 103. We actually took more than that year. That 103 were all me. So.
Wow. Can we give her a hand, guys? Wow. And we have officers right here, right now, that are closest to, they did not take 100 listings all last year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think when you and I were talking, how many listings did your office take?
865.
There you go. There you go.
Any other office would tell me it was Atlanta.
Well, you guys, well, first of all, the goals that you all were sharing, you know, when I jumped on early, just so that I could tune in and learn a little bit about you before we talk today. And, you know, I'm going to have you like take some notes today. So I hope that you've all got something to write down, some of the things that we share. And Jim, you having everybody share their goals is so incredibly important. And, you know, first and foremost, I'm a coach. You know, it's my goal in life is just help people get where they would like to be in life. And when it comes to goals, sharing them gives you an almost 50% higher likelihood of achieving them. And yet, if you write them down and you share them, it's like 77.6%. They did a study at Dominion University. So the likelihood that you hit those goals is so much bigger, and it makes us uncomfortable to do it. And yet the comfort that you all have is really amazing, because I don't always step into groups that are willing to put it out there and share. So it was really great that you all started that way. And whoever talked about changing the way you say things, who was that?
Gary Green.
Yes, yes. It's so amazing. If we just removed the word want from our language and would just start with, I choose, I intend, I am. Those are the two most impactful words you could ever say, because what follows them you bring in. Just call it like it is. And what you really were saying was an affirmation, and affirmations are just future pacing the you that you'd like to have show up. So why not today say, you know, I'm a lean, mean 100 listing machine, you know? I mean, there you go. So just call into existence what it is that you'd like to become this year, and the rest is history. Then we just lay out the plan.
Cool, I like that.
All right. So a couple of things. I changed, thank you for giving me screen share capabilities. I spent some time this weekend putting all of this into slides, so that you can take screenshots, you can get your phones and take screenshots of things. And so you don't have to write as fast as I may talk. I would love for this to be really interactive amongst all of us. So if you'll stop me, we might do a couple of role plays and, you know, just interact. It's a whole lot more fun, and we'll move a little bit faster. So I changed the order based on something that you all were talking about at the top of your meeting. And you were talking about interest rates, because those are all the conversation. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Right? Oh my gosh. So I am going to, hang on a second, I'm going to share my screen. And can you all see the four boxes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to walk through this, and Jim, I will get this to you so that you can get this to everybody. And then when I'm done, I'll put it in the chat as well. I would encourage you all just to take this and laminate it, so that when people are having conversations around interest rates, or I'm going to wait for them to come down, or, you know, let's wait until they get back down into the threes. I don't know that that's going to gonna happen in my lifetime. However, they certainly are trending lower right now. We've got to be able to really walk people through the history of the interest rates, what drives them, and why buying the right house now, or selling, by the way, and buying the right house now would be a great decision. And so here's what I would walk you through is if you would sit down and you would have these four in front of you. I'm going to start at the upper left. And if someone were to say to me, Tammy, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait until they come down. I'd say, well, you know what? I can absolutely understand, feeling that way. Would it be okay if I share some of the history of interest rates and why moving now might be the best option? And of course, they're going to say yes. So I would pull this one up and I'm going to say, well, if I look at the upper left quadrant here, if we just went back to 1990 up until now, you'll see that on average, interest rates are right around 6%, which would mean that right now we're actually at, that average. And yet if we went all the way back to 1972, on average, they hovered just under 8%. So if someone in 1972 were making a decision to wait until the interest rates came down in order to buy their home, when was the next time they actually went below that rate? And guys, it was 20 years later. It was 20 years. They literally, just by playing the waiting game, could have completely taken themselves out of the ability to achieve home ownership, right? Based on specific things that can happen in their lives. So 20 years. So when we look at what drives that, well, let's dig into that. Over on the upper right, you'll see unemployment is a huge driver of interest rates. Well, if we look at where unemployment has been the last, 3 years, 2 years, when was the last time that it was this low?
80.
This no,
Never. Look,
never.
yeah, it's never. And so when we look at that, and unemployment is so incredibly low, look what it does to the job market. If you go to the lower left, you'll see, that we have about 9.58 million job openings, and we only have just under 6 million people looking to fill those jobs. Now, I don't know how math works in Atlanta. That doesn't work here in Mooresville. Does that work for you guys?
For me.
Right? It doesn't. We don't have enough people to fill the job openings. Well, what does that mean for employers? What are they having to do in order to win the employee?
Raise wages, yeah.
They are, you're right? So they're raising all the wages. So people are making more money now than they have. I mean, right now, I believe our Chick-fil-A is paying $18 an hour. Right? So when you see that people are making more money than they have ever before, well, then they're putting more money into the economy, which drives up the lower right, which is inflation. Where would we like to see it? What's the number?
3%.
Yep, it's under 2, right? It's under 2. And so now let me go back up here to this upper left. And this is the bow tie on this whole thing. So you take the fact that people are making more money than they have in the past, and we go back here to the interest rates at this period right here. Can you all see my mouse moving?
Yes.
Okay, what segment of our population were in their largest spending years right here? It was the baby boomers, you're right. So it was the baby boomers. And when they were in their highest spending years, the only thing that we can do when they're putting all that money into the economy to bring interest rates back down is to raise them, right? To bring the inflation back down rather. All right, so here's my question for all of you. Which segment of our population is the largest segment in history and they just walked into their largest spending years? The millennials. The millennials. So when somebody says to me, I'm thinking about waiting until the interest rates come down, Do you want to know what scares me about that? Is I don't have a crystal ball. I do have the gift of being able to look back through history and what drives these interest rates. And that tells me that the right time to buy the right property is right now. And by the way, if they do come down based on other things like an election year or whatever, can I refinance?
Yes.
Yes. So guys, this conversation, if someone can afford the home, is it the right time to buy?
Yes.
It is. It is. And so we've just got to be able to change the narrative in how people look at it so they understand it. When people don't have an understanding of something, they don't make decisions, right? Because they are immobilized because they have fear. So they don't make a decision. The moment you can sit down with someone and walk them through what drives these interest rates, and you have the gift of history, then their confidence goes up, right? What just happened to my light?
And Tammy, our script here has been, but if you wait a year and let's assume that the interest rates go down 1%, which probably not gonna happen, but the houses go up 4%, you've lost.
Right. That's right. Well, and it's that people are looking at things the wrong way, right? They're looking at, the interest rate alone, not the value of the home. I don't know why my light keeps going off, guys. I'll just apologize for that. So yeah, exactly. I mean, if a house goes up 4% and the interest rate goes down 1%, they're paying more, right? They're paying more. And it's just up to us to have that conversation. All right. So apparently my light is going to stay off. So I'm just going to keep my slides shared. So are we good?
Yeah.
All right. All right. So today we're going to talk about listings, right? Let's dig in, and I'm going to give you some strategies, and I'd like you to think about this as like going to a restaurant, right? If you're going to a restaurant, you're going to have a menu, and some of you might like seafood, some of you might like steak, and some of you might like chicken. And I'm going to be the menu today, and you're going to choose what it is that you'd like to order. So for instance, if I were to talk about door knocking, right? Some of you might be like, Tammy, I would rather drop bricks on my feet than knock on somebody's door, right? And somebody else might be like, I'd much rather talk on the phone. Well, somebody else might rather drop bricks on their feet than talk to people on the phone. So today I'm going to give you all these different things that you can do to go out and secure listings and take market share. The fact that you guys are all tuned in on January 2nd and getting back at it is so encouraging, because when do you think that the rest of the realtors are coming back into the office?
Yeah.
You want to know? Here's the thing, Jim. I think that, you know how we talk about seasonality in our business? Let me see if you guys can kind of agree with me. When do you think that a lot of realtors step out of the office? When do we stop?
Spring.
October.
It's October. It's October. I think Halloween hits and it's like, boom, it's the we're in holiday season and they stop showing up, right? And so think about this. When you take action in real estate, how long before those results show up?
90 days.
90 days, right? All right, so think about this. If we stop coming into the office at the end of October, right, then we come in January and the pipeline is dry. So we're like hustle, 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 hustle. 90 days from now is spring. Is it possible that we actually are the ones that create the seasonality?
Yes.
Isn't that funny? All right, so let's talk about some listings. All right, first place always, 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 always is going to be your database, right? Tell me why your database is your data bank. Why would database be number one?
You already know you and like your relationships.
That's it. That's it. You already have a relationship with them and they already know you. So there's already that level of trust. It's also working smarter, not harder. I'm going to make a crazy assumption that many, if not all of you, have read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Would I be right?
Yeah.
All right, what are, if I'm communicating systematically with Mets, meaning people that know me in my database versus people that don't know me, making cold calls? Anybody know what the conversions are? I think I heard somebody say it. In MREA, I'm gonna call it MREA for short. In MREA, it was for every 12 Mets, you could expect 2 pieces of business, 1 referral, 1 direct with that person, right? Now, the new research that they've gone out and done for a rewrite says it's 10 to 1. So for every 10 people in your database that know you, if you communicate with them systematically, right? Not all in November, then you can expect 1 piece of business. Now, here's the flip side of that, and that's why the database is so important, is it's 50 to 1 when we're cold calling. Now, how many of you would rather talk to people you know versus people you don't know?
Yes.
How many of you would rather cold call than call the people you know? There's always both, and by the way, there's always both camps. It's okay. You just have to know the numbers, right? Because you can get there both ways or a combination of the two, which is what I'm going to encourage you to do, right? So this is just working smarter and not harder. So let's talk about some reasons that we can reach out and talk to the database now that it's the beginning of the year. What's the number 1 reason? Yeah, wishing them a happy new year, right? Easy call to make. Here's something else I'm going to have you write down. When you're having that conversation and you're wishing them a happy new year, ask them what one big goal they have for themselves this year is. Because when you start a conversation, and it's like asking somebody about how their job's doing. What do? They come back and they ask you, right? So if you just say, you know, what's one big goal you've got for this year? And then ask how you can support them in that. Then what's the likelihood that they're going to turn around and ask you what your big goal is for the year? Right? And then, Jim, I'm just going to say, I'm so glad that you asked. My goal is to serve, 50 families, 100 families, 500 families, whatever it is. Share your goal with them, right? Because again, this is just taking mind share, and it's just a friendly, happy new year conversation. You don't have to ask people for business if you occupy the mind space that you're their agent, right? If you're the trusted advisor, you don't have to ask. You automatically come up. All right. What are some other reasons that we might reach out and call this time of year? Anybody?
To give our clients from last year a copy of their closing statement.
Yes, that's such a fantastic touch, right? Because they lose that closing statement during the move. They don't know where it is. So yeah, so send that at the beginning of the year and then follow it up with a phone call, right? Absolutely. I love that idea, right? What else?
Homestead exemption reminder.
What was it?
Homestead exemption reminder.
Oh, yes. I love that too, right? Everything that both of those suggestions save them money, right? So you go right to the top when you do that, right? What else?
Contractors.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's talk about that one, right? I'm going to give you something. If you'll write down this website, and it's up on the screen, it's 5starconversation.com. I uploaded a copy of what I'm going to share with you there, so you don't have to write it down. This is one of the most easy conversations you can have, and it's fulfilling such value for your database, and it's teaching them to call you. And would someone, whether it's Jim or ever you standing up, want to volunteer to be my person that I'm calling?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Jim. All right, ring.
Hello, this is Jim.
Hey, Jim, it's Tammy over at Keller Williams. Happy New Year.
New Year to you too, Tammy. How was Christmas and New Year?
Oh my gosh, so fun. So much time with the family. And by the way, Jim and I would have what we would call a Ford conversation. Does everybody know what a Ford conversation is?
Everybody
Right.
know that?
Family, friends, occupation, recreation, dreams, or goals, right? So you just ask questions. Those 4 things, by the way, are the things that matter most to them in their lives. All of us, right? Our family, our friends, what we do for a living, what we like to do for fun, our dreams and our goals, right? So those are the things that matter. So I would ask questions and I would go where the conversation goes. And then I would say, and you know, Jim, I was actually reaching out also because I'm working on a project that I thought you might be able to help me with.
Cool.
All right, take about 3 minutes. Jim, as you can imagine, you know, like when you moved here, you left all of your service providers behind. And when people are making that move, they don't know where to turn. And quite often, I end up being the first point of contact when they're looking for a referral for anything. A mechanic, you know, an orthopedic surgeon, a dentist, you know, who does your hair, who does your nails. And so we're building out a 5-star directory that is going to be made available to all of our friends and all of our network. And I'd love to build it through people like you. And so if you would, have you had just a 5-star experience in the last maybe 30, 60, 90 days with a service professional or a business or somebody that I should know?
Oh, yeah, my handyman's wonderful. I mean, he's not busy right now. He's looking for more jobs to do.
Said no one ever.
Right. Well, Jim, what is so awesome about your handyman?
But number one, he can do almost anything. He's a master electrician, but he also can do light plumbing jobs. You know, he can put up stuff or take it down. He can get on the roof and fix stuff for you. He's a generalist, can do most of the. Now he can't do complicated roofing stuff, but he's good at almost everything. Just the little stuff that you need to have done around your house that you cannot find anybody to do it for you.
Oh my gosh! So he's a MacGyver.
He's a MacGyver, exactly right, Jeff.
Oh my gosh! Well, would you mind sharing his name and his contact information, and he would share it?
Oh, no, I'm not sharing because I don't want anybody else to have my.
Yeah, we want to get him busy, right? Well,
his name is Dale, and I'm happy to send that to you.
awesome, Jim. Thank you so much. Would it be okay if I use your name when I call Dale?
I would love that because he'll just let him know that I'm out there. I'm helping him have his best year ever also.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I will be sure to do that. And thank you so much for sharing that with me. And Jim, I've got one more area that I'm really struggling with right now. And boy, oh boy, you know, here we come right into January and people are already reaching out and asking me for a 5-star CPA. And my CPA retired last year. Do you happen to have a 5-star CPA?
Actually, I do. I've had one for 25 years. I'm happy to give it to you.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So then I would have him do that. Now, Jim, I'm going to have you like role play it the opposite way too. How many of you feel like you have an absolute 5++ star CPA, or how many of you think maybe 4 stars because there might be leaving some money on the table?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I love CPA because so many people are like, mine's maybe a 4-star, right? All right. So if you were to say no, not really, you know, we're always looking. I'd say, great. You know what, Jim, I'm going to continue as I'm reaching out to my network. By the way, guys, never say the word database to someone. People don't like to feel like they're in a database. They're part of my network, right? So as I continue having calls with my network, Jim, I'm sure that I'm going to come across probably 2 to 3 5-star CPAs. Would you like me to reach back out to you when I get connected with one?
I would love it because I just fired mine last year, so I'm going to do one this year.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I will be sure to do that. Jim, thank you so much for spending time helping me with this. When we get all this put together, I'm going to reach back out, let you know how you can access it. It's always going to be live and growing, and it's just something that we're doing to help our community and help our friends like you. Hey, before I let you go, what's the big plan for this year? What's something you're really looking forward to?
Well, I'm continuing to put money away for retirement because I may retire one of these days, so I'm going to continue to do that.
Oh, that's a great goal. Great goal. When is retirement? When are you choosing for that to happen?
When God tells me it's time to retire.
There you go.
Yeah, might happen any day.
All right. So Jim, thank you. Give it up for Jim. Woo! So let me break that down. That is a conversation that you can have twice a year. If we should be reaching out to our database, how many times a year?
4.
Right? 4 times. We should be having conversations with them 4 times a year. And so you could do that the first and the third quarter. And by the way, It's valuable. Think about this. I let Jim know I'm working on something for all the people that are in my network like him, right? He knows I'm a real estate agent, and yet I'm not calling him about real estate. I'm doing something to help him. When he had a referral for the handyman, I asked him what was so great about the handyman. That way, when I reach out to Dale, number one, it's not a cold call. It's a warm call. We have this client in common who absolutely said, I must talk to you. He said, blah, 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 blah. Right. And so I can share what Jim said was so great about him. Now, what happens to the relationship equity between Jim and Dale? Do you think that like Dale thinks that Jim is like the bomb.com because he just connected him to a realtor who's going to put him into a group where he can be shared with the community free of charge, right? And it's such a valuable, the warm connection to a business to business. We call it B2B. Business to business relationships are so vital because you all know when somebody gives you a referral, then you look to give a referral back. And so do business owners. And they're in touch with more people on a daily basis than sometimes others are. So it's a warm lead. Now, the second part of that I asked, I love CMA. It's always what we do the first quarter. I mean, CMA, CPA, the CPA. And it's because not everybody has a 5-star CPA. So you're always going to want to insert that second one, something that not everybody has, right? So that you now have a reason to connect them and, reach back out. Now, if I were calling through my network and I come up with two, maybe 3 5-star CPAs, what do I have in my hand when I actually reach out to that CPA? What might I have for them if I've been calling and everybody's got 3 and 4-star CPAs, right? Right. I absolutely could connect them right away. So I choose CPAs for 2 reasons. Number one, not a lot of people have a 5-star. Number 2, they are absolutely in a position to be able to send me referrals. So I'm just being very strategic about putting that second one into that conversation. All right. Any questions on that conversation? Do y'all love it?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
It's a great way. Now, here's the thing about reaching out to your database. What are the reasons that people move, right? I call it the 5 Ds. 5 Ds. D as in dog, right? It's diploma, diamonds, diapers, divorce, and death, right? So those things are always going to happen no matter what is going on with interest rates, right? Those are things that are always happening. The only way we know those is in conversation with the database. So as you're reaching out and having those conversations, you're going to uncover when those things happen, and those things many times prompt a housing change, right? And then you can be in a position to help them. All right, so I'm going to move on, and I'm going to give you some more things on the menu. All right, please write down this website. It's one of my favorite websites. It's propstream.com, propstream.com, and you'll see here. PropStream will give you a 7-day free trial so that you can go in there and build out this, but they allow you to assemble other databases. So some targets that you might go after. And this is just a snippet of the things that they can do for you. On-market, off-market listings, pre-foreclosure filings. By the way, guys, they are up, believe it or not. And it's crazy because people are sitting on equity, and yet they don't know that when they're behind on their payments, they can still sell their home. So pre-foreclosures are up. And when bad things happen to good people, sometimes they bury their head in the sand because they don't know what to do, right? And so you could help them get out from under that. They also will assemble lists of foreclosed and bank-owned properties. They have lists of vacant properties, tax liens, HOA, mechanics liens. I don't know how they put together lists of cash buyers, and they do. They'll give you a list of high equity homeowners. They can give you lists so you can see where people's interest rates are. Free and clear properties, non-owner occupied, bankruptcy, divorce, flippers, probate, like when somebody passes away, and senior owners, which, by the way, is a very, very underserved part of our population. and they literally need so much help transitioning out of the last home into maybe an assisted living situation. And it's a whole different seller than someone else. So these will allow you to assemble some lists, and then you've got to put together the plan on how am I going to target those. And I'm going to talk about the plan in just a moment.
Tammy, hold it. Who's heard of this website before? Anybody in here? Wow, I've never heard of it before. That's great. Great website. Thanks, Tammy.
You're welcome. Is anybody using it currently?
So, hold your hands up on the phone, guys. 1, 2 people, or maybe a third one. Yeah.
You love it?
Yeah.
I love PropStream.
Yeah.
I'm really just using it for data when people ask me questions. And I had a buyer looking in North Georgia the other day and asked me about a tax lien on a property that they've been eyeing that's vacant. So I went in to see what was going on.
Yeah, that website is just loaded with information.
Make my own list and
wow. Worth the price of admission, Tammy.
It is. This site is awesome. Yeah, when I found out about this site, I developed a small obsession, I will say. You know, I mean, from somebody, if you're really looking at how do I target market and uncover people that are in those situations, the 5 Ds, and people that can move now or buy now. Oh my gosh, right here, right? The other thing is, you know, let's look at how many of you have buyers that you still can't find inventory for? Because are inventory levels still low?
Yes.
They are. And so let's talk about how do you put yourselves in a position where you might get both sides, right? One of the things that I always encourage agents to do is go out to some of the third-party websites that the public use, you know, like realtor.com, like I don't call it Zillow, I call it Pillow. So they go to Pillow or they go to realtor.com, whatever their poison is. Go there and set yourself up on a search like you are a consumer, because they can list by owner themselves on those sites. Now, I just had a gal on my team last week, did this very thing and literally got somebody under contract on for sale by owner immediately. And by the way, vastly underpriced versus where it should have been, right? Because they're not you. They don't have that same information. So set up those online searches. Number one, you might be able to connect somebody. Number two, if you were able to go see a for sale by owner, let's just go there, right? And you actually could have an impactful conversation with them that could demonstrate that they're leaving money on the table by not hiring a professional, then you might end up with a listing that way as well. I love door hangers. Printerbees.com is an amazing website for door hangers. Now, if you order your door hangers somewhere else, they're great for messaging. Just go to their website, printerbees.com, and they've got great messages. I like to, you know, Jim, I like to do like a 1, 2, 3 punch, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. And door knockers being part of that. Another thing that you can do, let's say that you've come here and you've assembled a list. Well, then you come here, you could go to yellowletters.com and they will write letters for you that makes it look like you wrote them on like a yellow legal pad, like you wrote out a letter. Wow. So yellowletters.com are really cool. Circle prospecting. So many services out there where you could just drop a pin on a map and say, okay, give me all the numbers in a 5-mile radius around this property. Think about where the market is hot and the listings sell immediately. Where would you like to have your next listing be? And then circle prospect that area, making sure that you follow the do not call list, right? What are some services that you can use to get telephone numbers? Very good. Okay. Somebody say like RedX, Vulcan.
RedX, Vulcan 7.
Mojo. Perfect. Yes. And then obviously we can use social media as well, right? Just to find that missing inventory. Once you do that, guys, come up with something that's simple to execute. the more complicated it is, the less likely we are to do it. So, success is simple, not necessarily easy. So let's make it easy. So here would be an example of a way to target some of those groups. Number one would be mail out the golden letter, right? If you're not familiar with the golden letter, if you are part of like the Pivot Shift Ahead page on Facebook, there's many, many examples there. So please go into the files there, right? So you mail the golden letter to your target area. Then you follow it up with the door hangers. Then you go, the third part of that whole approach is then you go and you door knock, right? Bless you, right? What's the likelihood that somebody's going to have a conversation with you when they've already received things from you and recognize you from your picture? So that 3-prong approach really, really works. And this is boots on the ground. Here's the thing. Do any of you do door knocking now?
Yes.
Do you know your stats? Like, for every so many doors I knock on, I get a conversation.
Angela, what would you say your stats are on that?
Marlene and I go out and we talk to 13 people in 90 minutes.
That's awesome. That is great. Great. And I love that you know the numbers. So out of those 13, do you know how many end up setting appointments?
Right now it's low. I have one listing that'll be coming to the market in the next 3 weeks. That's the only right now lead that I have. Okay.
All right. So if 13 conversations yields one listing, how important is it? I mean, well, it's not even, it's important that she knows that. However, is it awesome that she knows that?
Yes.
I mean, because now if I know that, 13 conversations yields one appointment, and I know what my goals are, and I also know out of how many appointments I go on, how many listings I take, maybe I list, 75 to 90%. Well, then I know how many appointments I've got to go on. So it's really awesome that you know that. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes. Great. All right. So moving on, I had to put this in here, Jim, because yesterday I pulled our MLS here and we had over 700 listings expire. And yesterday was a big day here. So while we aren't seeing expireds in huge numbers, are we seeing expireds?
Yes.
We absolutely are. That year that I took 3 listings, expireds and for sale by owners were a part of that listing inventory where I gathered those. So when we look at expireds, are any of you working expireds now?
Yes.
What do you love about expireds?
They've already raised their hand.
Amen. Right? They've already raised their hand. They already said they'd hire a professional. And do you see the second bullet? Right? They've already tested and been rejected by the market. And it doesn't feel very good. So it puts you in a position to be able to come in and help. So let's talk about some strategies. How do you get started with these? Number one, the early bird gets the worm with expireds. Are you guys with me on that?
Yes.
Right? You've got to get up early. So search first thing in the morning. And if there are a lot of them, then pick the top 5 that you're going to reach out to make sure that you're the first one that gets them. Make sure that they haven't relisted. Make sure they're not on the do not call list. And then get with them early before they leave for work or when they would be on a commute. And if you don't get them, then reach back in at the end of the day. Now, I personally like the text call method. Those of you who are calling or reaching out to expireds now, do you text first? Do you call first? What do you find works?
I think what you said is the early bird gets the worm, and by 8:30, 8:45, you're done.
That's it.
I call.
Good for you. I love that. Are you having great success with them picking up the phone?
Actually, yeah, early. And I let them know that it's a public service announcement that I'm calling because they need to bury their phone in the backyard.
Yeah, right. I love that. I'm going to give you some fun stuff around that. Do you ever send video texts if you don't get them?
I used to, and I just didn't get any. I didn't have much luck. I'm too ugly, I guess.
Well, we're just gonna up your stage presence, that's all, right? Yeah, there you go, there you go. Yeah, I love those. And by the way, if you can't get contact info, go by, drop something off, and we're gonna talk about that. However, the goal is to get in front of them and get in front of them as quickly as possible. What day of the month do most listings expire?
Tammy, are you saying that you're hearing that they're getting great results at text call? Because I haven't heard anybody doing text call. Anybody here doing text call? Anybody? I've heard that. So are they getting better results with text first?
I don't know that it's any better results. It's a better response. Meaning, you know, if somebody doesn't answer the phone because they think it's a spam call or for whatever reason, here's what I would say. If you like to call and they don't answer, then leave the message, also follow it up with a text, right? So that they can respond to you right away. And I like the video text because they get to communicate with you at a higher level. There's no emotion and no emphasis on anything that you're saying when we communicate with words only, which is why texting can be so misinterpreted, right? So that's why I like the video. That's why I asked about the videos.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's good. All right. When do we see most expireds?
End of the month.
End of the month. So here's a helpful hint. Don't let yours expire at the end of the month. Right? Yes. And make sure that you know when yours are expiring. Let's talk about the conversation. Right? And this is just an example of a conversation that you could have. It's very short. It's to the point. And I like to get right to it. I'm sure you know that your home has shown up as an expired listing. Since I specialize in homes that didn't sell the first time and should have, I'm just calling to see, is your home still for sale? You can get to that so fast. And I don't know about those of you calling expireds now. For me, 75% of the time, they didn't know their home was expired.
Yep.
Wow.
And I literally would just do tick marks so that I knew, and it was consistent across the board, 75% never knew their home expired. Well, that's your way in the door right away, right? And so if the home is still for sale, then my goal is to get in and meet with them that day. If they say no, it's not still for sale, then I just need to find out, do they still have motivation? Oh my gosh, well, if your home did sell, where were you moving to? And if they tell me, and okay, what was taking you there? Well, that's exciting, right? So if I were able to bring you an offer that gave you what you were looking for today, would you still like to make that happen? Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, we would. Well, then you do still have some desire to sell. Then we've got to get together, right? And then you're just closing for the appointment. Your entire goal on the phone is to get the appointment so that you're in front of them, right? It's not to sell them on you or anything over the phone. It's simply set the appointment, get prepared, and get in front of them. Now, what are some things that they might say back, otherwise known as objections?
Where were you when my house was on the market?
Oh, I love that one, right? Where were you when my house was on the market? Well, you know what? That is a great question. And I'm very glad that you asked that. Did you know that in order to sell a home once, you actually have to sell it twice? What do they think? What do you think they say? No. You see, when agents list a home, they have to market your home to the agents, meaning they have to sell it to the agents, and then the agents sell it to their buyers. And quite frankly, your agent never sold it to me. Mm. Yeah, that one works really well too, by the way. What else might they say?
Do you have a buyer?
Well, I won't know until I actually see your home. By the way, yeah, we have buyers in all the areas right now, don't we?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they might say that they're going to stay with the same agent. Well, we all know what that's the definition of. However, you can't tell somebody that. What might I say differently?
I spend all morning talking to people just like you for my buyers and sellers. Wouldn't you want your agent to be that proactive?
Ooh, I love that. I love. Yes. All right. What about, well, do you mind my asking what your agent's going to do different this time that they didn't do the last time? Most of the time, by the way, in my experience, they didn't have an answer for that. It was just, they got the call from their agent and the agent was like, hey, we need to like re-sign, right? They told them it was the market, right? By the way, I love what you just said. You know what? One of the things that I do different is I proactively look for buyers for all of my sellers. Isn't that what you would want your agent to do? Right. All right. What about, we've decided to stay and not sell? You could go back to what I just said, you know, well, what was prompting the move? Where were you going to move if your home sold? Right. You just got to find out if they have any motivation. What if they say they're going to sell it themselves? Ouch. Ah, all right, Eric. So if they say they're going to sell it themselves, I would simply respond back to them with, well, you know what? After what you've been through and an agent not being able to get the job done, I can understand why you'd want to sell it yourself. What are you looking for in the agent that will get the job done? All right, so all I'm doing is shining a spotlight on the fact that their home didn't sell. Right? What if they ask me if I'll do it for a lesser commission?
Yeah, that's easy.
Right. All right. So by the way, so you might want to write this down. We answer questions on the phone. We actually handle objections based. So you'll see my responses to these were not really overcoming the objection. It was just creating doubt. So if someone were to ask me if I would do it for lesser commission, my response would be, so what I'm hearing you say is what you pay in a commission is important to you, correct? And they might say yes. Well, is it the commission or what you put in your pocket? It's always what they put in their pocket. Fantastic. Then we are absolutely going to talk about both of those when we get together. Right? Okay. When you meet with an expired, something that you might choose to take with you is, oh, wait, I love that. He said, I'm going to fight for your home's value the same way I stand by my value. I love it. By the way, I've got all kinds of things for objection handling for commissions. You know, if they said, well, Tammy, our last agent did it, you know, for 5%. And I would say, and here we are, the market has rejected that. Let me ask you a question. You know, how confident are you in someone who is willing to give away their money so quickly? Do you think that they're going to fight for your value? Right? You just have to create doubt. That's what it's all about. When you meet with an expired, print out their previous listing. And I love to take a red magic marker and I will circle and highlight all the things that are either missing or incorrect on their listing. So often, I'm sure you guys experience this too. You show up at a house and there's a fenced yard and it doesn't even say fenced yard in the MLS. And all of those fields are how we can search for properties and narrow things down for a buyer. So find all the things that are wrong on their listing and highlight it with a red marker, right? Nobody likes red marker. It's like going back to being a kid when they grade your papers, right?
Yeah.
So take examples of photos, your photos, professional photos versus the cell phone photos. If you stage homes, take pictures of stage homes versus non-staged homes. Talk about the Keller Williams listing service. Are you all aware how that works?
Yes.
All right. Are you talking about it with your sellers? When you're at a competitive, you're in a competition when you're looking to take a listing. And when you talk about the fact that the KWLS is 350 other websites that agents can't individually pay to get those listings on. And it's in addition to all of the aggregators that the multiple listing service pushes them out to. So talk about the fact that just by working with you, they can get in front of that many more eyes, because that's what the marketing is all about, is getting them in front of as many eyes as possible, right? So talk about that. Any questions on expireds? I'm gonna talk about. Okay. All right. So let's say that you didn't have a phone number or a way to get in touch with them. These are just some possible items that you might put into an expired package. Obviously, a customized cover letter, right? Your value proposition, your resume, list of the services you provide, walk them through the entire process, how to prepare their home for sale. Just because they expired, don't make assumptions that they ever got any of this from their previous listing agent, right? Your stats, anything about your team, testimonials, the Y4C2Ts, anything else that those of you who are working with expireds would add?
Examples of other expireds that I took over.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. Well, that's results, right? So you're just giving them the results. Very good. Anything else? All right. All right.
If you have a lot of listings you've taken, that's certainly, and you sold, that certainly is a great stat to show them.
Oh, yes. A pre-listing package is very similar to an expired package, except you can put a little more pain points into an expired package. I love the longer you've been in business. And by the way, even if you're new to the business, you can use the stats from the office is at the back of it. Why not just line by line by line, all of the homes that you've sold, and it just be pages and pages and pages and pages. It's performance based and it really shows results. And you can get that from your office as well if you're newer to the business.
Yep.
Right. All right. So let's talk about for sale by owners. Anybody working for sale by owners?
Anybody who listen for sale by owner?
I haven't seen any for a long time.
Wow.
Okay. Well, they always say my mentor was Diana Kokoska, and she called it the fastest source of business opportunity. And they really are, right? So here's some resources. Obviously, you know, when you drive by, you can see them. Zillow, for sale by owner.com, Fizbo.com, Facebook Marketplace. Believe it or not, Craigslist is still alive and well. I don't understand why. So all the scammers go there. So maybe that would be the last one. However, Facebook Marketplace, all of these are really good, right? So I want to talk about the for sale by owner appointment and get to that part as quickly as possible. The whole goal when you reach out to a for sale by owner is just to get the appointment, right? And it could be that, you know, you identify who you are, and I'm just reaching out because I'd like to know about all the homes that are for sale in the area, not just the ones in the multiple listing service. Could I come by today at blank or blank and see your home? Now you go where the conversation goes. They might say, I'm not hiring a real estate agent to sell my home. Well, great. That really wasn't the purpose of my call. You know, right now we've got buyers that can't find homes that they're looking for. And again, I just would like to take a peek at your home. Well, are you going to bring the buyer with you? Well, in this particular case, the area where you're located, my buyer actually lives out of town. And one of the things I do for them is preview all of the homes that we will see when they get here in advance to make sure that we only see the homes that match their criteria. You see how I'm just going for the appointment, right? So your goal is to get into the appointment. All right. So everybody have a pen?
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to give you how this appointment goes. All right. Your whole goal when you get there is to see the home and build rapport with the FSBO owner. At some point, I'm going to get to this part of the conversation. I've built rapport. I've walked around. I've asked questions about the home. I'm going to ask where they're going. My next question is, do they already have their next home? It's really important. 90% of the time, they do not. So my follow-up question is, oh, okay, so do you have to sell this home in order to purchase the next one? And again, 90% of the time they do. Everybody got that? There's a progression where I'm going. All right. My next question is, so when this home sells, are you looking to make just one move or are you looking to make two? Meaning, would you like to go from this home directly into the next one, or are you going to have an interim stop? And the majority of them say what? One move, one move. I mean, how many of you have moved in the last 5 years? Wasn't it exciting?
No.
Can you even believe we get paid to do that, right? Because it's brutal. And so most of them are looking to make one move. And then my tonality changes. And I'll say, can I share something with you? Simply based on what you just shared with me. Are you aware that there are 4 different types of buyers in the marketplace. And they either answer no, or they just look at you bewildered. There's serious and in a hurry. And when your home goes under contract, I would consider you to be serious and in a hurry, because you're going to have a week or 2 to get the next home under contract so that they close simultaneously. So those are people that are generally like, they're moving very quick. They're serious and not in a hurry, right? It might be a first-time home buyer. It might be somebody that's just waiting for like the right thing to come along, and yet they're not driven by any reason to move right away. Bless you. Then there's investors. Now, you might have heard from investors. You know, investors look to reach out to for sale by owner because they're looking to pay less. And then the 4th type, well, they're looky-loos. They go to open houses, they go to the model homes, they might come to a for sale by owner. We don't care about them, you don't care about them. Listen, the reason that I'm sharing those with you is, you know, if you're serious and in a hurry when your home goes under contract, are you working with a realtor to get you in to see all the homes that match your criteria when this goes under contract so you can see everything that's on the market? Or are you reaching out to just the for sale by owners? And then just wait. And guys, the light bulb goes off. Literally, the light bulb goes off in their head. And your tonality here matters. I mean, you're not there to say, I'm the realtor. And I say, could that be why you're getting more phone calls from real estate agents than you are potential buyers? Listen, you know what? I've loved our time together, and I certainly am going to keep your home in mind as one of the many homes that are for sale in our area. And yet, would it make sense to sit down so I could show you how we could make that happen for you more quickly and more than likely put more money in your pocket? If I could show you a way to be safe, secure, release yourself of liability, and net you what you're looking for, would it make sense for us to spend 15 minutes going over that? That landed me more appointments than I could ever like count at this point. So I'm going to stop there. What are your biggest takeaways on that?
It's not threatening to them, it's just logical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Did you all get the 4 types of buyers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Serious and in a hurry, serious, not in a hurry, investors, and looky-loos.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's crazy. They just don't think that way. And it actually really, really works. All right. So Jim, I've got the top of the hour. Do you guys want me to keep going?
Let's let them ask a couple questions. Tell me, what do you think?
Yeah.
All right, guys, what questions do you have about taking listings? Something that would help y'all go out and take a listing in the next week. What are y'all thinking about? Questions? All right, Shelley?
What system are you using for expired listings? Phone number for expired listings?
We use Vulcan 7. Yeah, we use Vulcan 7.
What'd you say?
I have used Mojo. I started with Mojo and moved over to Vulcan 7. We also have something called Land Voice. Land Voice is another service that sends them to you. And we literally subscribed. I'll come back to that in a moment. We literally came back to Land Voice because they added some other components. They brought in the pre-foreclosure lists.
Wow.
And they were big. There was a lot of them here. And back in probably maybe 2008 and 9, short sales were my thing. I mean, they just absolutely were my thing. So when I saw that they were available and they were out, there's no reason that somebody should be going into foreclosure right now. Not in the market that we're in.
Anybody using a different one here? Anybody at all? A different one? Okay, cool. All right, great question. Other questions? Anybody? So Tammy, if, my goal this year, my mantra this year is, we want 2024 to be our best year ever.
Yes.
So how can we help, our agents here, have their best year ever? Because that, we're about productivity here more than anything else. That's my number one thing. So what do you think?
So to have your best year ever, number one, it starts with your goals and writing it down. Get your GPS and your 411 put together, because that literally, your GPS is your business plan. Your 411 is how you get there, and allow someone to hold you able to it. I know sometimes when we use the word accountable, it makes people uncomfortable, and yet accountability is a gift that you give yourself. So be accountable to your goals. And then the best way to make all of this happen is with consistency and with creating a schedule that is a schedule for success. And that means that you have a schedule, right? Don't just wake up in the morning and not know what you're going to do. Have a schedule that you'll follow. Master the morning. If you'll master your morning, then everything else falls into place. I always say master before noon, and then after noon is your flex time. However, before noon, it's not. I mean, that is whatever your lead gen looks like for you. And by the way, Jim, I don't even call it lead generation. Lead generation gets such a bad rap that if we just called it, contribution calls, contribution door knocks, whatever it is, you guys are contributing value to your communities. And if you look at it different and you know why you're reaching out to somebody and you know that you can help them, then your whole inside is very different and your conversations are different.
But Tammy, I know you're coming to Atlanta on the 18th, is that right?
Yes.
18th, is that correct? You're gonna bring bowl. I mean, so why would I right now do bowl? I mean, isn't bowl the same old? I know what to do. Why should I do bowl right now? Because it's the same old stuff, right, Tammy?
No, it's not actually.
How do you know this, Tammy?
Here's the thing, some of it might be because guess what? Unless we're masters of it, we're always going to have the fundamentals. Sometimes we look for shiny objects in our business, and the truth of the matter is the fundamentals are always where we win. It's why great sports coaches always drill the fundamentals, and we get out of practice. We develop bad habits. And when I stepped in as the director last year, it was very evident that it was time, because the market had shifted, for us to do a rewrite. And so we did rewrite it in the summer of 23, and I labbed it here in my home market center, and then it went out into the world in August and this past October. The results have been phenomenal. We listened to what everybody wanted. You guys were all looking for scripted out conversations. You wanted it in writing. You wanted the buyer consult, the listing consult, how to overcome the objections, how to call it for sale by owner, how to call the expireds, and it's all in there. There's probably 50 pages of that manual are all the written conversations. We've also said, all right, we've got to master social media. We've got to master texting. It's how people communicate now, unfortunately, right? Because you don't have the tonality there. And yet we put together text messages that get results and are setting appointments. And it's jam-packed with good stuff. And the lab did feedback on a weekly basis, and we tweaked things as we went along, and yet the results were there. So I'm super excited, super proud of it. And I'm really excited to be able to bring it to all of you. And by the way, I can drive down to see you, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that too. And Tammy, you don't typically come to areas and do bowl because you're the head of bowl, right?
Correct.
So why are you doing this for us? I'm very interested, because you don't have to do it financially. So
Right.
why are you doing this for us? Why the Rawls Group?
Oh gosh, well, because when Stephanie calls and says, will you please bring Bold down to our people, and I only am asking for you to come do it, I can't say no to her. I just can't say no to her. She's just darling. And I did Bold with the Rawls Group years ago. I think that we decided it might have been 2019, and the energy that you all have there and just the interaction, what happens in a bold room is when there's interaction and the results are there, and it's not just me talking at people all day, we're really like, we're making this happen and we can go deep. It was such a fantastic time and I enjoyed it. So I like to spend time with like-minded people.
I'm glad that you're able to come and be here with us, and Lake Norman's a hard place to leave, but you can go back to it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It's all good. It's all good. I think last time I flew half of the time and then I drove half the time because 85 is so much fun.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know, like, when are the concrete like barriers ever going to come down? They've been there for years. Never. I'm with you. No, I'm gonna be honest, Jim. You know, bold changed my life. And you know, so many people say that. And you know, when I took it in 2009, my husband had been working for a builder. And of course, in 2009, if any of you were in the business then, you know what it was. And he came home one day and they'd shut the doors and he lost his job. And all he knew was working that side of the business, which is more like it's not general brokerage. And so we, you know, joined forces in the worst time ever. And this crazy class called Bold came along. And we borrowed the money to go to Bold. It was still $7.99 back then. And literally we're number 2 in our region the next year, just he and I. And I attributed it to Bold. And I ended up taking it like 13 times more after that. And one day I just woke up and I was like, I have to give back. You know, I have to give back to something that has given me so much. And it's a passion for me, big time.
I can tell you, my first one was Kate Patulski.
Oh, I love Kate. Kate's a beast.
Kate's amazing. So anyway, anything else y'all ask her? Guys, thank you all for the patience. I know we're over. Anything else y'all ask her? If I can just give her a hand. Thank you for spending your first full day in business with us this morning. Thank you so much. And we hope to see you on the 18th.
Yes, I look forward to it. I apologize. My light keeps going out. I guess you don't know they need replaced until they die, right? And, guys, I can't wait. This is going to be part of that business plan that just really knocks it out of the park in Atlanta for your office. So I'm tickled to partner with you guys.
Great. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Thanks, Tammy.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you for your patience. Enjoy your day. You need anything else? We're good. Thank you, guys.